And so when we find these different roles and opportunities, it's gonna continue to grow. I will say this: those of you, some of you guys are part of forbearance, and some of you guys were on the call last Saturday. You probably could attest to this. I think we had amazing response for courses and portals. I shared that with the Silveris community so that they could use courses and portals as a way to build their business. And there were people already in it that want to get courses and portals for themselves. It was great. So there's clearly a huge opportunity there for the courses and portal concept. And one of the things that we're going to start testing out, I mentioned to you guys, is having the downloading residents do outbound marketing for courses and portals. I want to be careful not to say, I don't want them to have to sell. Remember, we've got the video. I just want them to do outbound marketing, connect businesses and organizations in with the free training, help them understand what courses and portals are, and that's going to help create the income to fill a lot of so anyway, so that was that update. So again, congratulations. He's got more coming, by the way. Alan's already putting the pressure on for the Finder of the Year. He watched Grow Vertical last year. He was there. He saw the Finder of the Year. He's on target for it. He said, get that trophy ready, engraved with his name. He's going after it, and I'll tell you.
I'll engrave it now.
So I love that. I love a bit of friendly competition.
Greg Mick called me today. He is so happy. Oh my God, like he couldn't even have asked for better. Like he's like, I couldn't imagine that. Because what, if you really think about the timing and all, this is like a divine appointment, because if we'd have caught him a day or two later, it'd have created a lot of more headache for you just to get to the home, because he was gone so fast back to Colombia. So yeah, he's so happy right now.
Yeah, let me add context to that. We got on the call with Greg on, was it Wednesday or Thursday? Was it Thursday? Thursday. And Friday he was leaving. I did an early call for me. I agreed to do an 8 a.m. Pacific time call, which for me is early. I go to bed at 1, 2, 3 a.m. So, 8 a.m. is not ideal. But he was traveling to go back to Colombia, so he had to leave the property, and he wasn't coming back. So it's like, okay, then we need to get the video tour done tomorrow. So he went there and he did the video tour, and we walked through the property, got it all on record so we could, plan out some of the whatever little tweaks we need to make. It's already furnished, which is what's great, right? The property has enough to put it up for the most part. We're going to make some tweaks and additions, definitely linens, and there's some other things, but it was already furnished, which makes us be able to work with people quicker and faster if their property is already furnished or they're willing to pay to get it furnished, right? So, but that was, Alan, to your point, absolutely. Like that timing was so important. And just a real strong Christian too, and believer. And that's what I tend to be finding here. If all we did was attract those Christians that want to make impact, we're going to do amazing things in this country. That's all right, and that's, we're not restricted to that, but I'm just saying that if that's all that happened, that's pretty powerful. So that was really good.
Bedroom too, 3,400 square foot. We're going to get in 9 people, maybe 10 in there.
I think 10. I think we came up with 10 because that one bedroom will have 3. There's a in-law suite in there that has it's huge. It's got enough room easily for 3 beds with its own private bath, so we could have 3 there, and just awesome. But even if we only had 6, the numbers are really, really favorable for him. And 5 actually is even favorable for his family. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is all just bonus. So he's got 4 kids and sees this as a generational wealth. And the same messages I've been telling you guys over and over. It's about generational wealth. Now, I will tell you, be careful. Be careful not to overspeak what it is we do and how our programs work, because we have so many different strategies that I don't even have time to go into. For example, I know someone, I don't remember who it was, but somebody had a potential opportunity, and the person said, no, I'm not interested. I need all my money out because I've got some debt. I need to cash out because I've got a hard money loan or whatever the loan was, debts is. That's not a no for us. Remember, we have revocable option contracts. If we still marketed and found a buyer, found residents, We may have other models where we can help them do some refinancing, put it into an LLC, pay off any debts that they have. So it may not be all their money out, but it's better than being stuck with a vacant property. So don't assume there's just one model. It's so important to get the facilitators that have been trained. I mean, some of these people have been training with me on a regular basis for over a year, right? And I'm probably don't even fully understand everything that I share on those, but know that there's more, right? That, hey, there's something along these lines and these creative things that we do and blah, blah, blah. So don't let your past experiences in real estate or lack of experience in real estate think that it's just the one thing that gets presented on these coaching calls. I just try not to overwhelm everybody. Remember, Joe did a great job a while back explaining, hey, remember he had a property out in Chicago, and he said, look, and they said, oh, we've done seller financing and all this stuff before. And he said, get on the phone with my partner. He's a creative genius. He's going to help you come up with some amazing strategies. And now they want to partner with us. They went from originally being like, no, we know. And Joe didn't even mention seller financing, but they just assumed, and, just, Joe, keep the doors open with people. Let them hear the bigger picture, because we tailor it and customize it given people's situations. So, all right. But Alan, that was awesome. And I think the point is, it's shots on goal. Now I'll tell you, Alan's had a couple really, really good shots. And at the very beginning, and sometimes you're going to get the people that you spend time on, then they disappear or they come under contract. If we had to want to do it right before they were about to sign that contract with us, they got an offer. And if it falls through, they're going to come right back. We know that because they want to partner on a bigger way with us. So that was awesome. Now they had 2 properties, so we're still working on the other one. But obviously, it's going to be about just education and sharing the models. So, all right. Anything else, Alan, you wanted to add on that with Greg? And I love the fact that he was so happy and you guys prayed together on the phone. That was awesome. I mean, just talks about the type of people that we're helping.
Yeah, as far as that goes, no. But Vanessa connected me with someone in North Carolina who's already been in the space. They had 2 buildings, one house, 24 men, the other with 20 women. Older woman, she doesn't want to deal with it anymore. So that's what we're going to talk about next opportunity I get it with you.
Yep. We're going to probably cover it off on this call, actually, after I go through some of the updates, if that works.
We don't have an address yet.
Oh, we don't have an address. All right. Well, then we'll circle back.
Vanessa can get that.
Yeah.
2 addresses.
Well, what I want to do is I'll talk broadly with you. So I definitely want to cover that off before we leave today. So that was up. Reminder for anybody. Oh, and Barb, I saw your email. I didn't even get to respond to you. I just said I'm going to do it on this call. Barb had a couple great questions regarding Beyond Living, and here's what I was thinking of doing. I'm going to create like a Beyond Living 101 extra little session, and anybody that's want to focus and understand some of the things about Beyond Living, I'm going to ask that you guys email me any questions you have about Beyond Living. She already sent some, and then I'll cover those off as part of a special Beyond Living session. And I might do that if there's enough people that would. Well, let me ask this here: how many of you guys would like? Give me a high five. Wait, hang on. No, don't do that because I might get confused later. Give me put the letter BL, abbreviation, Beyond Living, in the chat box. If you would be interested in a Beyond Living kind of one-on-one. I'm not sorry, deep dive, like a Q&A. Like bring your questions, ask how this works, how that works, go through it. Because maybe I'll just do that as one of our coaching calls and make that the topic if there's enough people. And then it'll be saved and yeah, I love this. So what I'm going to ask people to do, it looks like almost everybody. If you have questions about Beyond Living, where, anything, where do we focus on it? What if I have this? How do I present to people? Email those to me. Everyone, here's my direct email. Hang on, let me put it in the chat box. Hang on. FYI, if you email all the emails that typically come out, if it says Keith Eichley -NextGen REI, those all get responded back to the support team. They don't go to me directly. So if you're trying to reach me directly, make sure you have my direct email. Don't email me, though, for the things like I can't log into my account and blah, blah, blah. The support teams can help you with all that, okay? Make sure you're emailing me with And property question specific, you should just put in the accelerator, because when you flag it, that emails me too, and I keep it organized, and then I can go into a special email folder. I can go into accelerator and I can filter all those out. If you just email me a random property and say, hey, help me understand this one, the odds are it will get lost. I about guarantee you, if you email me something like that, that property is going to be gone. If I can't get to it that same day, it's on page 2 or 3 and I'm never getting to it. Okay, so accelerator is a better place to email me property opportunities. But did I hit enter yet with my email? How come I don't? Oh, here we go. All right. That's my phone number or email on my business card. I'm like, just contact support so they can filter for me. So my fear is getting back into that same world as we continue to grow, because this stuff is massive. And I want to be able to dedicate my time and get as much of my time attention to those that are absolutely serious about what's happening, right? You guys know, you guys are here on these calls. You guys know how to reach me. And you know that if you've got a serious connection, when you reach out to me, I'm going to make time for your resources. Does that make sense? I'm going to direct people where to go. I say, hey, have them go check this out first, but let me size it up. That's how I have to balance my time to make sure I can get as much done as possible. It's about efficiencies. Some of you guys know this. Susanna knows this. Aldo knows this. Some of you got to meet James Malinchak, good friend of mine, and ABC Secret Millionaire. He does not. I'm good friends, so I have a cell number. We text all the time. He does not even have an email. He doesn't even touch email. And I was so jealous when I heard this. I'm like, man, you built an entire massive business without even using email. I don't know how you did it, but I love it. His assistant is his sister, and she manages all his email for him and prints out the things from on paper and puts them on his desk that he needs to know. I'm like, wow, what a system, right? So I'm not there yet. So you guys still have my email, but one day it's not going to be a matter of that I don't like you. It's just that I need to, wrangle back in my life.
You have your kids growing up soon, train them now.
That's right. All my emails will be managed by them. Exactly. You got it, Susanna. One more reason one more job for them to do so that they can buy their own Xboxes and stuff like that. Okay, so that was another update. This Thursday at 9 a.m. I'm gonna double check it. 9 a.m. Pacific, which is still a bit early for me. I don't really care too much for 9 a.m., but I'm trying to be helpful for the East Coast folks. Is the next Beyond Living Q&A for nonprofits. So if you have some nonprofits that want to learn about how Beyond Living works, we don't have a landing page up yet. The team's been working with Silveris. We've got Silveris. The links to go back is all built. So we sent that out. I tested it last night, and that's all working. So those that are in Silveris, as you know, we have this structure now with Silveris that when they send people to the 75-minute training video, at the end when they go to check out, it's going to take them back to your storefront. So that way they check out at your Silveris checkout page, not our regular Square account. It's pretty cool, right? So that got built out this weekend and tested. So everything's working on our side. We're just need to validate that those links have been set inside the Silveris platform to send to us, so we know who sent it over. But Micah's got that going. So just FYI, we got a lot of development stuff happening. We're working on some commercials, commercial videos. One of them's going to be for the transportation. The transportation video is about getting more junk removal and peer-to-peer deliveries going. That's obviously something we want on a massive scale. So that's on its way. I'm going to try to be even more restrictive on my time this week, because all the marketing stuff I planned for last week didn't happen, or most of it didn't, because we had to work on Silveris stuff, and I wanted to help Alan close his opportunities, and had great conversations with New York, with Denise and Alex, which was well worthwhile, because we're going to get that going. So it may be till next week before I can do many things, and even that is going to be a little bit of a shortened week. But let me see what else I had, and then we'll talk about properties that you guys have. So I think for updates, Susanna's got an awesome property that I actually just went and visited yesterday. I was down in Henderson, and I stopped by, and she had this individual who has moved to California and put his townhouse into Beyond Living, and what a great property. I spent a little bit of time rereading and re-researching the Henderson, Nevada. So the Vegas folks, those guys that are out here, the Henderson's short-term rental rules, because obviously I didn't think we could do short-term rental anyway because the HOA, we still need to get that HOA, but I was just rereading it. And along that lines, we had somebody, and Alan, you remember, we were on the call with Whitney, who wasn't clear about we had discrepancies in how we do our licensing with our members. And by the way, I actually spent some time this weekend researching, and I found the state statutes in Arizona. I found the case law in Maryland and everything else. Students or not, you can license your property, right? It's not just a student thing. And there's actually another out on all of this is employees. If we have to, employees can actually get housing from their corporation. And when you get your housing provided by your corporation, it's based on the assumption that you remain an employee of the company and you actually sign a license, and therefore it changes the rules and the regulations in which how it kind of shifts the landlord-tenant laws, just like a student in a dorm. Same thing. If you're no longer a student, you no longer get your license to be able to live inside there. And then I took it a step further because I started looking at some of the ways some of the rules are written in some of the cities about the housing and so forth. And the way we're probably going to position our homes is that these are homes for staff housing. Listen to this, staff housing that when available, our members, Beyond Living Program members, can actually utilize at no cost, because that's how we do it. We don't charge for the rooms. And I did that intentionally from day one, because it can't be considered transient housing and subject to any taxes or anything if they're not actually paying for the room. They're paying for the Beyond Living educational program and vocational training program. They're paying for the vocational training. That's what they're paying for. The housing is a bonus. And by the way, that's true. If we don't have houses available and somebody has a place to live, they can get into Beyond Living and do the program from wherever they're at. So I'm going to make it up. I see Deborah on my screen. Deborah, let's say your nephew is living with you in your home, right? And he's looking for a job and looking for a way to restart, right? He could get into Beyond Living and work the opportunities that we create with courses and portals and our transportation and go through our education program and everything else. But his program fee is going to be exactly the same. And it's paid for by the work that he does. So notice what we did there. If somebody who's not part of living in our homes pays the same fee as somebody who is living in our homes, there is no exchange of money for the housing. Is everyone getting this? It's not rent. They're not renting the property. This is not transient housing. This is the same as if, Deborah, your cousin comes in from out of town and wants to stay with you, right? And she says, "Hey, Deborah, I'm coming into town." You're like, "Hey, I got an extra room. Come stay." That does not put you in the short-term rental category, does it? No, as long as you're not taking a fee, right? You're not paying taxes on it. You're not subject to the number of people in a house type limitation. My brother, they're a family of 7. Anyone else have a big family and ever have them come stay with you? Yeah, you're filling up your house more than I guess unrelated by blood technically would be considered family, but you might have other people that have come in before, friends. How many people? Well, here's a perfect example. How many of you guys have kids and have ever had a sleepover at your house with your kids and they brought a bunch of friends? Anyone ever have that? Oh my gosh, my kids were in dance and we have 20, 30, 25 people sleeping over at my house. Technically, that's more than 4 unrelated people in the house, right? So anyway, so we're going to do some really creative things. I also spent some time researching pad split a little bit more too, to try and understand how they're getting around the number of unrelated parties. And I do have a friend, partner, who's doing pad split. He was going to check in with their legal team. I haven't had time to do that yet, but they use that term member. And they do my backup plan, which worst case is we'll just create an LLC and everybody will become a member of the LLC for free. And they'll become a member of the LLC, and that LLC can rents the property, and therefore they're staying in a property that they're an owner of, that they have equitable interest in, right? Yeah, Alan, you and I have a property together. No one can tell us that we can't stay there. It's our property. It's our property. So anyway, so we've got lots of ways. I'm just careful and aware of this. And this is what I love. I mentioned this on Friday. Denise, when we met with Alex, he was talking about, you guys all heard that ridiculous ordinance that the kids can't sleep in these youth centers anymore, and every other organization complied, but Alex refused to. I'm not following the ordinance, right? And the ordinance makes no sense from a humanity standpoint, right? It makes no sense. The reality is, people, if they don't agree for whatever silly reason, they're going to try to find a way to have you not do what you're doing. Right? Whether it's short-term rental, whether it's helping the needy, whether it's whatever. If I have to become a church, I'll become a church. I looked that up this weekend too. I found there was one church that was fined $12,000 for letting homeless people sleep in their church. This is out in Maryland, I think it was. I saved that article. Right? I mean, this is the chaos that happens. So we'll figure out our way. We'll get enough people behind the mission of doing good out there. The people that come with a godly nature behind them, we'll get support behind us to stop this nonsense of rules that basically are not helping people. So, one last comment I thought I was just thinking about the short-term rental. Susanna, I don't know if you know this or any other Vegas folks, check this out. I didn't realize this when I first read the Henderson laws, although they made some updates again in February of this year, and then at the end of 2020,
Still recording.
I also did some updates. The last time I had seen those rules were probably pre-COVID, but I'm not 100% sure for the short-term rental laws in Henderson. But Henderson has that if they have a 24-hour hotline, and if somebody calls in on the hotline, and you don't respond and get it resolved within 30 minutes, you need to prove that you reached out to the guest within 30 minutes. And then you have to have your local on-site contact out to the property within another 30 minutes. So within 1 hour, you've got to resolve some type of compliance. And I'm thinking, okay, I get it. They want to try to protect the noise and everything else. But why does that noise problem only apply to short-term rentals? Why does not every landlord have to follow this same thing? So if you've got a neighbor that's blasting their music at 2 a.m., oh, there's no concern about that. But if it's a short-term rental, we've got to jump hoops and figure out a way to be there and respond within 30 minutes and be there, have it resolved within an hour latest. So I'm not against creating a good, healthy community, guys. Just to be clear, I'm not against it. But it needs to be even across the board, right? You got to apply the standards, make it a general standard, not just apply to short-term rentals. And then however people, what they do with their property, as long as they're within the bounds of keep creating it, then that's fair. So the reason I bring that up is I want the same thing for Beyond Living, right? Let's not make this about how many people are in the home or whatever. Let's make sure that we're providing a good experience for the community and we're not bringing down a community, right? That's what it's about. I'm all for that. So anyway, those were my, well, just as a side note, I'm surprised I didn't get it. I have a photo. I don't know if I put it on my, I don't think I shared it to my computer. But this is pretty funny. You know, when you have a short-term rental, you guys will crack up on this. So Airbnb, talk about AI technology. Airbnb, we had someone that was trying to book one of our properties, and Airbnb kept denying them. They kept saying, no, not allowing it to happen. They wouldn't let them do it. We're like, well, maybe that's a good thing, right? Airbnb is, probably uncovered some things that they know. And so finally they disappeared for a little bit. And then the next thing you know, they end up booking, and they end up booking on Vrbo. Okay. So they book on Vrbo, which actually makes me even more nervous because on Vrbo, you don't get the coverage that you do with Airbnb. So this is Friday night. So all of a sudden, we have our Ring cameras, and we knew they were having a 30th birthday party, which we were actually okay with on Airbnb because we have the damage protection. So anyway, my screen is showing. Can you guys see this? This is Friday night. So Friday night, the night of the party. Yeah, look at that. If you guys can't tell exactly what that is a giant turntable PA sound system. And they kept asking the entire time, can we smoke in the house? No, you got to smoke outside. Okay. So then that disappeared. And then they said, can we smoke in the basement? No, you got to smoke outside. Okay. And then they came back a little bit later and said, hey, can we pay extra fee to smoke inside? And we said, no, you got to smoke outside. So anyway, it's about 8 o'clock, 8:30, maybe 7:30 Pacific time. No, it's already 8:30 their time. So 6:30 our time here Pacific, which is 8:30 p.m. Central time. There's not even a single car in the drive. We're like, oh, this is interesting. I thought the party's tonight. So then 9 o'clock comes, 10 o'clock comes. People don't even start arriving till 10 o'clock. And we had quiet hours, 10 a.m. to 8 a.m. They didn't even start the party till about 11 or 11:30 at night. And then, now we're up late here anyway all the time. And all of a sudden, we're watching the ring cameras. Nobody's going out to smoke. And so, we reached out and said, hey, just to make sure you guys know there's no smoking. And they said, oh, yeah, you know what? We got it. And then like a half hour later, 2 people came out for a minute and smoked. That was it. So my point is, this party continued till 6 a.m. 6 a.m. Now, luckily, you can't see it, but luckily next to us here is an open lot. So we really don't have any neighbors on that side, and the other neighbors here haven't complained. The vast neighbors back there, I've had people in this place that have complained on the neighbors behind us. I've had short-term rental guests complain because the neighbors behind have been partying until midnight, right? And they actually called the cops on them because it was so loud. Our home was at least contained inside the house because we couldn't hear it on the ring cameras outside. So they at least kept the noise into a manageable piece. But my point, by the way, they did smoke up the house with weed, and I want to thank Doug, and we had a whole crew of people out there yesterday and even still today getting it ready for the next guests that arrive in, I don't know, 2 hours, okay? We had someone, Doug was there like 5 hours, cleaning person stayed overnight to continue working. They broke the glass, they broke the door. That was really, I guess, the biggest part of the damage. There was a fight, and they did tell us that the glass, and the door broke, and we got that fixed. It was a mess. Luckily, we charged an extra security deposit on Birdbow, so that has been eaten up for sure. We're going to obviously compensate Doug and the team for their time. My point is this, though. Oh, Doug, I was going to send you this photo. I actually snapped this on my phone that night. That was from the Ring camera. And I don't know if you used the Ring or not. I think you have access to it. I was going to say, Doug, we might have some issues with this one, but we knew they were having a 30th birthday party. But my point is this. Look, out of all the bookings we have, and this property is booked pretty much every weekend. In the past year, this is only the second issue. The first one, they actually did put a hole in the wall, and they tried to patch it themselves. We did have 2 other people that one left paint, and they paid themselves to get it fixed afterwards. But it's gonna happen, right? It's gonna happen. And I agree, as short-term rental hosts, we need to protect the community and if there's complaints, solve that. But it's like like I said, maybe one, we never had a noise complaint. The things that happen inside, right? So not even 1 out of 52, and there's weekday bookings too. I'm just going to count the weekends because nobody really holds big parties on the weekdays, right? Not even 1 out of 52 did we have a noise complaint. We did it. 2 out of 52 actually had damage. So what is that? 120, that 4%. But all of it hopefully will be covered. Well, so far all of it was covered by either security deposit or this one. We're going to have to give away some of the booking revenue just to compensate everybody. But it's a fraction, and it's one time out of the entire year. How many neighbors have a birthday party once a year or something, have a 40th birthday party or have a graduation party, right? Because kids are graduating and things get louder outside and the street gets filled with cars and this and that. It happens. So anyway, my point in all of this is just to circle back to with Beyond Living, we don't want to create an environment where we even have to deal with issues like this, right? We want our homes to be well-maintained, in control, neighbors. They don't have to love us, but they don't hate us. They're not banning us without even knowing. Like they're basically stigmatizing and discriminating against all short-term rentals, right? I mean, the reality is we've had people stay there for funerals, coming in for weddings, coming in for graduations, coming in for kids' hockey games. Like, why discriminate against all those people? Because you do get a few bad apples in the bunch. Now, this guy actually, in Doug will test this, we watched them taking bags and bags of trash out back. Like they, relatively speaking, they actually put some good effort in to try to clean up all the garbage. They didn't put it in the right spot, and I think we had to move it all, but whatever. But they did some. They could have left the whole place just trashed, and they didn't, right? They just figured, oh, no one of the weed smell will go away, and it truly was an accident with the fight that they had by the glass door. Whatever. Kids can throw a ball through a window too, right? Anything can happen. So I'm gonna get off that now. But anyway, I thought it was just so interesting. We knew we were up for an interesting weekend when the party didn't start till 11 p.m. Anyway.
Hey Keith,
Yes.
have you heard anything about Airbnb not paying their people? I have a friend up in Michigan, and she does short-term rentals in a vacation area, and she hasn't gotten paid in months and months on any of them.
Wow, I don't know about any of them. We've had probably 5 claims on Airbnb. Now we run a lot of properties, Rick, so keep it in perspective. We've had about 5 claims in the last probably 3 months, 4 months, and all have been paid. One is still under review. It's been in the review for like a month now. We don't know why that one. And that one was actually a party, right? That was actually, we could tell they had glasses and everything else, and it was kind of disgusting. But we had other ones where we can't prove who did it, but one of the toilets backed up, right? And the sewage came up through the shower and got all over the floor, and we had to get carpet cleaners out there and all this other stuff. We got reimbursed $1,100 for all the repairs of that. And quite honestly, we didn't think that one, Rick, was even going to get approved, because how do you prove that it wasn't the previous guest or the guest before that put stuff down the toilet that finally caused the issue, right? We've had chairs break. We've had, things like that. And we've been paid, although I think generally speaking, you've had pretty good success too. Michael mentioned not getting paid. And Aldo said, no, you just got to do this. And you filed this claim. But, and I'll let Aldo chime in a second, but it's funny you say that, Rick. When these people first booked and they got on Verbo, we started getting nervous because Airbnb blocked them. Even when they tried like his daughter's account and this and that. So Airbnb pretty much knew that this was risk of party. But we've had other people that they've blocked that have come in that have been just fine. A lot of times they'll block if you're local. If you're local and you book another property, they're going to assume that you are booking for a party, or that's part of their algorithm, right? Brand new profile. You live in the area and you're booking another place. Yeah, chances are you might be having a party, right? I'm looking into a couple different insurance things. One is Proper, and I know, Carla, you looked at Proper, and they wouldn't cover your properties in Denver, right, because they're a bigger piece. We're also reaching out to a company called Safely. So I don't know if you've heard of Safely before, but Safely they actually are supplemental to your existing landlord policy, right? And so they'll actually, they apparently blow the socks out of the water of Airbnb's coverage and all that other stuff, so they claim. So does Proper. So we're investigating those, because the thing I don't like about Verbo is that they don't really have any damage protection other than they offer you can have your guests have to do like a $59, you get different plans for like a damage protection. And I read that, guys. I read that policy. You know what it says? It says, as long as it's unintentional. Okay, so now we get into debate. Was my broken window intentional or unintentional? Clearly the weed in the house was intentional. They chose to smoke in the house, right? Like, so is that not going to be covered? So, anyway, it's like, guys, don't take this. Some of you guys sell insurance. Don't take this a wrong way, but I don't trust any insurance. I don't. They're so good at collecting, and they're awful to pay out. Carla knows this, unfortunately, with her house down in Florida that got hit by the hurricane, right? Like, 40 years of paying insurance, never with a claim. All of a sudden, hurricane comes, and they don't want to cover, right?
Yep. Yeah, that was most of it. I think it was more flood. Yeah, it was flood damage. Like I said, the adjuster knew how to play the game, and flood was here, and wind damage for hurricane was above. So that they worked with us. So we did get a nice check, but it wasn't everything.
It wasn't everything. So Bill Foley, who owns Fidelity National Title, They got all this title stuff and things they won't do, insurance in general, but he's spending billions on sports teams, right? They got money to buy sports teams, but they won't pay out on my broken glass on my window. I had a flood in my house. Some of you guys know this. My house back was it had a pretty big basement. It's 2,500 square foot basement, and it flooded with 40,000 gallons of water. 40,000 gallons. This thing was over 3 feet high, and it was because the drainage down from the association backed up and flooded through my foundation. So it wasn't a sump pump failure, and so they wouldn't cover any of it. Even though sump pump was working, it couldn't pump it fast enough. And their claim was, well, you didn't get the rider that covers your association not cleaning out all their drain things, so therefore this isn't covered. I'm like, what rider? Like, this is, everything's in a rider. Everything's in a rider that I don't even know about. And so anyway, I don't mean to pick on insurance, but I have to. Like, my experience tells me, and many of you guys can attest to this, that you get a bad taste in your mouth if you've ever had a bad experience with insurance, and I've had more than one, and probably many of you have as well, right? Medical insurance, same thing. How many guys are gone to medical and they don't cover anything? You show up and they're like, no, that's not covered. They got a reason why that's not. Oh, yeah, Lorena had this too. Lorena just went through this. You bought this house, right? And you went to Allstate. And had you done something different at the beginning, I think Lorena's, because the process and the way she went about it, now it wasn't covered. So there's so many loopholes. Like, that's who I want as my attorney. I want who's ever writing the insurance policies. I want them as my attorney because they got all the loopholes, right? So I don't have an answer as the why and what the rhyme and reason is, Rick, for Airbnb and your friend in Michigan. I will tell you, I know people that have gotten their claims to line. I've read things online where Airbnb, but my personal experience somehow has generally been pretty decent with Airbnb. But I'm still looking at safely because, it just takes one big item, and all of a sudden it may be worth it. You just have to add it up.
So what she was saying is, it's not really the rental. It's not that end down here. It's Airbnb up here that they're having problems, and they're behind on a lot of payments to people.
Well, keep this in mind. Yeah, good point. Airbnb last year was the first year they were ever profitable. Did you read that? Did you see that? It was their first year. So yeah, if they're looking and they got this part of the people go to Verbal because it's cheaper. Because it's probably cheaper because Airbnb is building in the insurance piece of it, right? So if they're getting lots of claims, Rick, that's sucking away their revenues that they didn't plan on, and so they're trying to figure out how do they not pay it. So yeah, it's. And I'll tell you this, a lot of people have bad experience with home warranties, but we've been pretty fortunate with our home warranties. So we do them. And by the way, I don't know if it's the sale's still on. We bought a bunch of home warranties about a week ago. We got them for half price. We picked up our home warranties at AHS for $20 to $25 a piece. Shoot, we added home warranties on the properties that we weren't even going to home warranty because it wasn't worth it because there wasn't enough in there to warranty. And there's no, we have properties with no air conditioner. There's no heat because they use radiant heat or whatever. And they have, you buy the little ones from the store. But for $20, we're like, let's get it and then decide later if we want to keep it. So we've had good success. We really have.
You're talking about American Home Shield?
Yep, American Home Shield. Well, we have, they're our primary, because we have like a corporate account with them, but sometimes owners have their own. We have Old Republic as well.
Well, I've had both. Old Republic pays better. You have to fight for American Home Shield, but you can win.
I haven't had to fight that much. It hasn't been our experience. I mean, we had multiple air conditioners last year. We had multiple refrigerators. We had hot water heaters, all of it replaced. There was one item that we recently had to do, and it was because something was missing, but it only cost me $190. They covered part of it, but not another part. But actually, there was some validity to the reasoning when you read it, because it wasn't installed properly. If you have something that's not installed properly to begin with, then they won't cover it because it didn't break. It was just not put together properly, right? So I kind of see that, because what they don't want people doing is this. All of a sudden, Rick says, oh, I'm a handyman. I'm going to go put together my own plumbing again. I'm going to replace this sink out. I'll just do it like this and blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, the thing starts leaking and causes a flood. Well, Rick, it's because you did it yourself. You're not a plumber, right? Doug, know this. We had somebody not licensed that did our Superior Plumbing, Doug May, I think he's still out there. And oh my gosh, he was one of the renovators, and he did all the plumbing. And all of a sudden, undo the thing when they were washing the dishes, and the entire floor flooded. We got a real plumber out there. He sent us pictures of how the plumbing's supposed to be and how the guy did it all backwards. The whole thing was backwards. So yes, when it doesn't work like that, you've got to be responsible as a homeowner to get quality people and licensed people into New York. So I kind of get it. So I've been a little bit there, Carol. So, but fortunately, it's been good enough for us that we continue to use them at a corporate. I'm not saying they're the best.
Well, I still use them. I wouldn't be without them, but
Yeah.
I did catch them in fraud, and I went back to the dispatch because I
Yeah.
had a second opinion come out, and I saw where they had, the first person had lied. So then the second person just copied the first one's lie, and I caught them in it, and I made them go out there again.
Yeah,
You know,
no, and you know what? We actually, you're a good point, Carol. So we did have a different one where there was a refrigerator and the ice maker broke, and it was getting stuck with water. Broke, but it broke because they were trying to actually stop it from continuing the flow. So in trying to get it to stop, they broke the piece. So then they claim, well, you broke it. When you physically break something and it's not, based on normal wear and tear, then they don't cover it. But then the issue becomes which came first, the chicken or the egg? When it stopped working because of something else, it broke in trying to fix the problem that already existed. But, well, you guys know this. Probably some of you guys know my story with our Mazda that we had. We've given up on it now. We're walking away with just a small amount of cash. We lost $8,000 on our Mazda. We got the extended warranty and all that other stuff on the vehicle, and the engine went out. And they can't find an engine, and then they're claiming that it's not under warranty because, well, they can't. They have to diagnose it first for $2,400 to diagnose to prove whether or not it's covered. And if it's not covered, then you've got to pay for the entire engine replacement yourself. But if it is covered and it was in fact due to an actual fault, then they'll cover it. It's like, well, so I got to invest $2,400 to then have to buy a whole new engine. If it's wrong, that's another $2,400. I'm out. Like, so we just said, forget it. I mean, to each their own, but like, I'll probably never buy another car warranty extended again because, I just saved my $1,000 and put it in my pool fund for my this sucks fund. That's what I call it. That sucks. It's the way it goes. You pull out your that sucks fund. You pull it out there and like,
So if they want the $2,400 up front to diagnose it, because I got an issue with a car back in Ohio, they don't apply it to the $2,400 after they diagnose and you do need it, or
no. If they diagnose and find that the issue was because the engine was actually something that was covered under warranty, not fault of our own, then they'll actually cover that diagnosis at $2,400, right?
Okay. They apply it to the amount.
But if they come back and say, "Oh no, this is because here's what happened. Something happened, and they said that you drove it too long." Well, the car died. I mean, basically, the car physically died. Like, yeah, you were in the middle of driving, and so, well, you should have stopped driving it. Well, you didn't have the opportunity to stop driving it because it went out, right? So this is the unknown. This is the gamble, right? I'd rather take $2,400 and walk up the street and put it on black. I'm
Exactly.
running. So
that's a very biased diagnosis too.
right, right.
They could be like, oh yeah, it was our problem, but then tell you something different.
Right. How do I know? I am not an expert, man. I could go. This is what I love. The mechanic I have. I actually went in and thought I went in to tell him I need my transmission replaced because it's slipping, and he came back and said, no. Actually, I wanted to change all the transmission fluid and everything else because I hadn't done it right, and I felt like my transmission was slipping. He said, no. He said, I'm not going to change your transmission fluid because here's why. If I change it at this point, it's gonna create more issues, and you're going to end up having to replace your transmission. And I don't want to do that. Most other people would replace. I'm like, this is the guy I like. He could have changed out my transmission, which is the fluid I brought it in for, charged me the $140, and then he'd know I'd be coming back 3 months, 6 months later saying I need a new transmission. This guy is unbelievable here, and he's done that for me multiple times. I'm like, look, I think this is wrong. And I said, hey, this isn't working. He's like, I wouldn't fix that, and here's why. And love it. Like, honest people, and he gets all my business now, and I trust him. But although other than someone like that, I don't trust the dealers. I don't trust the insurance. I don't trust anyone. I've been through it too many times. Somebody asked some questions earlier. I'm gonna go back to. Sorry, I missed them. We got down these tangents. We can invite a nonprofit interested in Beyond Living for people helping on Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific to a live Zoom. Yes, a live Zoom. So if you have people that may be interested in coming to learn more about Beyond Living, that's going to be Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific. So that's noon Eastern. Email me for right now. We were trying to get a landing page up by Monday, but there was too many things that the dev team is working on at once. So hopefully maybe today we'll register them. If you just send me and say, hey, I have somebody interested, here's their name and info, we'll actually register them on the page once it's ready, and they'll get the link to join us at this live event. And they'll get notified. It starts at 9 a.m. If nobody shows up by 9:05 or 9:10, I'm gone. I'm out. I got plenty of things to get done. Is that clear? But I will stay on until all questions are answered. All right? Because that 2 hours to work with nonprofits is incredibly important to me. It's like the most important thing for me to do right now, and my mission from God is to build those relationships. But if no one shows up, then I'm going to work on other things that are going to build relationships, right? So I'm going to use that time differently, but I've got to be using it effectively. So that is Thursday at 9. I'm just looking at some other notes here. Thomas, working on receiving an old school 92,000 square to do 15 homes behind for workers and temp housing, then other homes to rent and sell in the same counties. We will look at commercial, large commercial each state. I love that. You know, it's so funny. I had this vision. I think it might have been wasn't at church. I was actually finishing up biblical citizenship yesterday. Oh, don't let me end without that really quick. Some people might be interested in something, but hold on. I had this vision of having these training centers and using schools and churches and so forth for our training for Beyond Living, so people could come in and learn. Because one of the things I want to have a backup for in every area is that people are not learning remotely. There's a difference on what becomes taxable or non-taxable with Nexus laws. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Nexus. Anyway, it's the way things are taxed. Education virtually can be considered tax versus physically. So if you have a physical option, like you don't pay tax on when you go to school at college, but now they're starting to tax if it's online pre-done education. They're starting to tax that based on each state. I got a whole chart of all the states. So anyway, so that's interesting. That was Deborah's. This is helpful to know the difference. Don't know what that was too. Carol Sue, my comment above is funny now, even meeting happens. It sounds like could do short-term housing in Myrtle Beach. That would be good. Is there a Beyond Living link to share with nonprofits? Michael, there's an entire Beyond Living quick share app. If you go to beyondliving.org, on the very top, there's a did you mean for Saturday, for Thursday? Is there a Beyond Living link for Thursday? If you meant specifically for Thursday, there's not yet. As soon as the landing page is up, we're going to put that into the quick share app for Beyond Living. So you could say, here's the nonprofit Q&A session. It'll be one of the, and we'll give everyone a notice that, hey, you can now share that. So for now, if you have a nonprofit interested, just email me their info or the team support at NextGen REI, and we'll get them registered. That's even better. Don't email me.
It wasn't for that. It's to be able to send them information to get them.
Oh, general information. Then I was right on when I first started. Quick, if you go to beyondliving.org, at the very top, there's a share button. Click on that, and you can download the Quick Share app right onto your phone, and it has all the different links to share with nonprofits.
How do you send that via email?
Oh, you want to send it via email? One of the best ways to send those links, if you wanted to, so they could be tracked to you, is first text yourself the link, and then just send them that link.
Okay.
The other way is there's a dashboard when you first get your activation for your Beyond Living affiliate share program. And that dashboard has all your URLs already laid out for you. All the things that you can share already have your unique URL. So actually in that initial email, it says click here to go to your dashboard. And you could go right there. And then you don't even have to mess around with the Quick Share app.
So how do I know if I have any credit? I have to get some kind of certification or something, you said?
No. All you do is, hang on, I'm going to share my screen again. For anyone that hasn't seen this yet, this is really good and really important. If you just go to, you go to Beyond Living. Oh, hang on. beyondliving.org. You go to beyondliving.org, and the third link in right now, it's the third link. That may change, but there's a share link. When you click on share right here, you're going to be able to put your information in. Once you do this, this is going to send you an email that gives you a link to be able to open that Quick Share app on your phone and save it to your home screen. That email also contains the credentials to log into your affiliate dashboard, which gives you all of your URLs, shares how many people have opened it and clicked and all that other good stuff. Did everyone catch that? Hopefully y'all figured that out or got that. If not, reach out to support and they're happy to help. Other questions? Go
I
ahead.
have a question, Keith, on
Yes.
on the link you're creating for this Thursday event. I assume it's gonna change every time you have the new one, right? When people click on it, and then when is the next one? And are you gonna put on that link what day are and what time, so people will know, or is it
Yes.
just day by day?
It's going to, I preset the first 3 sessions. None of that first 2, no one's had anybody interested to attend yet. So they didn't take place. So this is the 3rd of the first group. So I was waiting to see how much action and traction we get on this before I block out a bunch of dates in my calendar, right? So there will be one next week, but we are, as you know, Susanna, we've got some plans next week. So I'm going to be a little bit more limited time. There will be at least one though next week, and then there'll be more after that. And so what's going to happen when they go to that page, all the known next sessions will all be listed so they can pick the time that works for them. So if there's already 3 pre-planned sessions, they can pick which section fits best with their schedule. But I only have Thursdays figured out right now because, I was working on next week's plans. So good. Everyone got that? Not just Susanna. So they'll be able to say, Thursday at 9 a.m., Monday at 12:30 or whatever it is, and then maybe next Thursday at 9 a.m. or 10 or whatever it ends up being. So can we get some of your YouTube videos from Beyond Living or to attach to funnels? So the videos, you mean because, well, you can embed them right on your page from YouTube. That's one way to do it. If you're looking for the raw videos, maybe not, because I might want to change them. Let me think through that first. So let me understand what you're trying to do with your funnels. I just want to know where they're at, because if I need to update them, what I want to be careful of is that videos that are no longer applicable are out there on funnels that I don't know about, and then I can't control them. So I'd rather, for right now, you just embed. And if you didn't want to embed the YouTube, I could potentially get you the Vimeo version. So that way it's a little more, doesn't have all the YouTube around it. But the YouTube's good as well because it has links to the other videos so people could just get in a cycle and keep
Yeah, I like the YouTube. I'm just trying to think of different things that I could post.
Oh.
So when I post them and someone clicks on it, it's going to link to my funnel.
Yeah.
Not just for YouTube, for LinkedIn, for Facebook, for all the rest when I start doing that. I've been doing a lot of that already. I just need more content to put out there. Yeah. Because so a lot of your YouTube stuff is great. It's phenomenal.
So are you looking for more topics on Beyond Living or those specific ones? Oh,
yes.
So Rick, we have more coming. That was my goal last week. And that's what I was saying. I tried to block off last week and this week to do a bunch of marketing to get you guys more stuff. For example, we've got a video specifically for organizations that work with substance recovery, right? So what do they do? And then we have another one coming out specifically for women of domestic violence and all these different things so that you'll be able to have a whole arsenal of different topics that you could utilize. So yes, as they come out, we'll make sure that you stay in tune with what's there.
But what's nice is if they can all go to just one funnel.
Well, we're working on that too, Rick, actually. We're actually going to do, it's very similar. Actually, let me show you what we're going to be doing. Share my screen. Oh, is it still already sharing? Okay, hang on. We're going to do something similar in concept to this. If you look at NextGen, we're going to have a page that's not with this yellow. The colors will be different. I just want to show you concept, Rick. I've got a main video about how to get even more for your home guarantee. So we're going to have a main video. Here's what Beyond Living is all about. We're helping and working organizations, blah, 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 right? And then we're going to have these sub videos. Are you in domestic violence? Are you a sober living house? Or you work with recoveries? Are you a church, nonprofit, blah, blah, blah? Here's how you could benefit. Is that kind of what you're describing?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. And
just
that
so I can have different content out there constantly bombarding
yep.
folks.
Yep. And then they all could come back to one page and then they could pick their selective things. Like this video is really short. It's only 2 minutes if you have a vacant property. So if that's who you are, this is the video that you watch that's very particular to you in where your mindset is. So this type of design or structure is something that we're going to be creating, but it may be still another couple weeks before that's available, Rick.
Okay.
But we're getting there.
These original ones are still going to be on here, the ones that you have, or are you changing them up?
No, the ones that we already have, I'm not changing those at the moment because they're good enough. They're MVP, which we talked about on Friday, right? They're minimum viable product. There's nothing wrong with the ones that are there as long as they're not completely off base in what we're doing. Our rates change or something like that, or we're no longer doing XYZ. We'll leave them because there's too much new stuff right now I still want to get out. So, yeah, the goal was to do one every week. That was my goal when I launched this. And I haven't done one in probably 6 weeks is my guess, just because we've had so much happening. You guys are keeping me too busy. That's a good thing. Was that helpful, Rick? Would that help? Is that, if we had something like this, that's what you're looking for, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And then also,
yeah, go ahead.
Also, can you get a script for this? Because I do a lot of videotaping myself.
Oh, a script for which part?
Any one of them, just for content.
If you download those, there are script softwares you can utilize that'll actually put them onto that'll convert it into.
I think I can use Big View. I'll put it on there or CapCut, one of the two.
Yeah. I mean, I would add that to my team's plate, but it wouldn't get done for a while. So if you're looking for it sooner than later, it'd be faster if you just grab it and just have someone convert it.
Okay.
We do have software that we bought a long time ago that does it, but it still takes time for the team to download it, et cetera. And I want to get the page built is what I want them doing right now. Is getting more pages. Because while this is good to have a generic, and this will become kind of the one, if hey, here's all the ways we help. We're going to have very specific ones like we do for, again, kids aging out of foster care. Here's how we work with you. Here's some of the organizations. Here's why it's important. And that way they're all kind of grouped together. Cool. We lost a lot of people, so I might have to cover it again a little bit later. But I mentioned to folks, I had just finished a biblical citizenship course, which was amazing. And I'm going to be bringing that to our network for those that want to help us get the country back. So it's a little bit off topic from real estate and more about the fact that we've completely lost, God in the sense of the way our decision and our government's working and our people and the things that are happening in schools and so forth. And it was amazing. And the idea behind this is we've got to get people back understanding our Constitution and protecting our lives. And to me, this is important for my grandkids. This is, we are at risk. And Ronald Reagan, I think, said we're only one generation away from, at any time, from losing control of the country, right? So we absolutely don't want that to happen. There's a course, it's totally free, called Constitution Alive that one of our members, Howell, is actually putting on. And it's normally 10 weeks. He's going to condense that down to 6 weeks. So that way people don't have as much time in. And if anybody would be interested in something like that, I don't know if that one's going to be streamed yet or not. It's going to be here in Vegas. So if there's any Vegas folks that would like to learn that, let me know. I'll connect you in. But I do have a thought. This biblical citizenship was the most powerful class that I've taken in the longest time when it comes to understanding it, where we're at in our country and how to get it back. And I think it's going to be a great starting point for so many. If anybody has interest in learning that and going through, that was an 8-week class. It was worth every bit of my time going through it. It is amazing. I talked about maybe creating a Zoom version of that when he runs it again, so people could actually Zoom in. And my goal is I actually want to start bringing that into our Beyond Living homes. And I want to start getting this well spread throughout and having different people kind of creating their own little versions of this where they get people inside their home and share what's happening. What is our foundation on? I mean, it's just insanity to me how far we've gotten. And I've been ignorant. I'll be honest. I'll admit it. I've been ignorant. We're indoctrinated into ignorance in this country. That's how our school system has actually built us up. Like, it's no one's fault. Because that's the public school system. Actually, this is really funny. I think I got some Californians out there. I think, Sam, you're in California, if I'm not mistaken. One of the gentlemen that was in this last session, he actually ran and got on the school board. And even as the superintendent of the school board or commissioner, school board commissioner, he's out there saying that the school system is messed up. How crazy is that? Like, he got there because he's not afraid to share his true principles. And, so anyway, if anybody would have an interest in that, you just let me know, and we'll work to try and create something so you guys can plug into it. We're going to run it live in Vegas again, and we'll Zoom it so people could actually come in from anywhere around the country. And then the hope is we get people behind it. Their goal of that organization is to get 10,000 people that actually want to get into office, that have gone through this idea of biblical citizenship and constitutional life, understanding how we get our country back. And I love that mission. And that starts by people being aware. So again, more to come on that. I'll do it as we have more Vegas folks on. Ironically, we only have a couple Vegas folks here this time. Normally we're filled with our Vegas. But anyway, anything else you guys have question wise? Otherwise we'll wrap this up. Just checking the notes here again. Social media and podcast from our nonprofit partners, they get free marketing. Love that. Joe's interested in the biblical citizenship. There's also constitutional law. That one's not as big, other than the Constitution was actually founded on the principles of the Bible. By the way, the Bible was most quoted source in the Constitution. Most people don't know that. 34 times. Sorry, Carol Sue, go ahead. I see your hand up now. And then we're going to wrap up. All right, she's not able to get herself unmuted. All right. All right, I'm going to go ahead. We can't, obviously your audio is not working, Carol. So check your chat. Checking the chat for Carol Sue. How do we participate in Beyond Living for those coming out of human trafficking exclusively? Okay. Well, we just met with True ID here in Vegas, which is an organization to fight human trafficking. We're trying to work with Judge Marley Parladay, who has a big passion for human trafficking. So the way we would do that is it's no different than our other avatars, in the sense that we would obviously try to probably put them into their own homes because they come with a different kind of background and everything else. And so we would want to get enough qualified residents out in a given area with a home there. And then we would, basically just run the program. But what happens is we partner with existing organizations. So they're working on the mental trauma side of it, right? We're not trying to do that part of it. We're trying to provide more of the other advanced education, get them the jobs, get them the training, so that they have ways to start making money, in regular jobs, right? And that's what we want, and not be abused and all that other stuff. So that's the way we would do that, Carol. So we would need to have enough to fill a home, and then we would do that. That's how that would work. So we'd want to build with a yes. So that would be great. Have a friend in Vegas, ex Super Bowl champ from there. He knows the No Foundation. Is that what it's called? The No Foundation. Yours is the No Foundation. Got it. Yeah, and by the way, in Las Vegas, those that don't follow football, just so you know, Las Vegas has the 2024 Super Bowl, which was the highest instances of sex trafficking. And so there's all types of organizations that try to come together to help fight it here. My church is already trying to do things to help fight it. So we have a real need to help with trafficking. And ironically, we also have a bunch of properties that might be coming down the pipeline as the short-term rental laws come in here. So there may be no coincidence that all this is happening. Maybe this short-term rental is to help us use a lot of those homes for good. But he's worked with 20 ex-champs. Will come to events. Oh, that would be phenomenal, Thomas. You know what, Thomas? I'm going to find time. I'm going to email you. I know I've been saying this but my schedule's just been so haywire. Last week's stuff is not done. But I'm going to reach out to you. I want to get together with you this week, okay? I'm going to reach out. Let's get on a call. We got so much synergy here, so I want to get it at least implanted in my head so I can see how we start putting these pieces together, because I know there's a reason we're here together. There's no question. So, in fact, I'm going to add that to my list right now for today to at least set up a time with you, okay? Let me get to my today list and get that added in. Okay, cool. All right, folks. I'm going to let you guys run. Need to go, and have a great rest of your day. We'll see you guys on Wednesday.
Recording stopped.
Thanks.
Have a great night.
Hey, how are you? Just wanted to end this session live. Go to altrealtysale.com. If you're a realtor out there, if you have a listing that is not selling and your seller is interested in making money off of that property through Beyond Living and through using that house for a positive purpose and helping people that are victims of trafficking or aging out of foster care, things like that. Let me know. I'll be happy to send you some links on our program and how it works. So, or reach out to me, 661-418 REAL, 661-418-7325. Make it a great day, and we will talk to you soon. Bye for now.